And his whole politics दाएं और बाएं movement came actually with Sukhdev. Because Sukhdev got a film from the Indira Gandhi government to cover the 1974 railway strike. And he asked Tapan to do it. And Tapan said no. Because he had to ask himself which side he was on. So I think there is a story of Tapan himself, in a sense of growing, questioning, challenging, changing. There's another similar moment when he made some films, and some of you have referred to it, when he found that the documentary films that he was making were telling a story, but it was competing against a huge media apparatus which had been taken over by the state. And he had to decide whether telling the story itself was enough or not. And that is when I think he had to take a side and say how to work with people's movements, how to work with the Naga people's movement, with Kashmir, with Punjab. And that is what led him slowly to abandon filmmaking and getting into people's movements. And he used the same set of skills of research, inquiry, documentation to, in a sense, build upon a trajectory of his own. But that too had to come to an end at some stage. And that came when he started, and you heard some of the interviews with Father Stan, with Sudha. There were other interviews also he had. And it led him to question the whole essence of human rights, in a way. Because he found that what the state was offering was human rights as individual rights. And the whole collective aspect was disappearing. And many of the movements were also trapped into that, whether they were fighting for individual rights or whether they were fighting for collective rights. And when that phase came, he had to change tack again. And he did it admirably. He confessed that perhaps what he was doing was not adequate enough. And that's how, to some extent, he got into building alliances, regional, sub-regional, set up institutions to do that, to try and bring people together, and to offer forums like PIPFPD, where these things could be discussed, debated, and taken forward. And towards the end, actually he came back full circle. And he said, it's in his writings also, that doing this thing in WhatsApp groups, in seminar rooms, in halls, is just not enough. You have to get back to the street, get back to actually talking with people, and building a united front of all the working people. He didn't quite spell out how, but looking at the trajectory of his life, one would imagine that what he was referring to, and there are some comrades here who have been part of it, was his adda. It wasn't just drink and food. It was conversations. The addas that he had with people like Shumanto and others, I think those were critical in terms of building a debate, which is not possible in a forum like this. It's not possible to challenge each other, to go beyond certain boundaries. And that perhaps is a challenge that he has left behind while walking out this time, of finding out how to establish a forum where these addas can take place, where we can freely debate, stay away from the nation state as the policeman, because whatever we say in halls like this is under review. And we cannot debate freely. So how to, in a sense, liberate ourselves from this prison of discussion and debate in formal structures is something that he has left us with, and we need to really discuss that. I hope those messages go across loud and clear, so that we are not here only to look solemn and serious and celebrate the man, but also take his ideas further.